Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. The case that I'm going to be looking into today is one of a Christina Morris. She was actually in her 20s when she was murdered. This is a solved one as well, so it will eventually be solved. But, I don't know, probably not in the way that people would have hoped. Well, kind of and kind of not. You'll find out when we get into it, so let's do that right now. Christina Morris was 23 years old and she was actually dating a man called Hunter Lee Foster at the time. She moved to Fort Worth and which was close to her family and friends, and she had a good job working for a dating company. She was really thriving in life, you know, everything that she wanted, and was just such a lovely woman. She was doing really well for work, and Hunter was actually a model, a one-time model apparently, pretty much failed model. So he was looking for a new job, but Christina was doing really well in her work, and so you know, she was fine sort of supporting him. They lived together whilst he was looking for a new job, whilst he was in between work, and she didn't care about that, you know, it wasn't a big deal for her. And they both had made these plans for Labor Day weekend, but then Hunter was going to go to Dallas to see his friends, and Christina was going to go to see her friends in Llano. This was 29th of August 2014. Christina wasn't really happy because probably originally she wanted Hunter to go with her and meet her friends, but he didn't do. And so she wasn't very happy about that. But anyway, she drove up there, she met up with her friends, they enjoyed their time there, they were bar hopping, having a few drinks, blah blah blah, shots. Christina apparently didn't have as many as her friends did. She just had a few here and there kind of thing, so she wasn't totally wasted, I guess. And she had been texting Hunter throughout the night because, again, she wasn't happy with him after he didn't come out with her. So they're bar hopping, they're, you know, enjoying the night, having drinks, and then eventually at about 2 a.m, Christina went back to her friend's place, and I believe that was the plan, she was going to stay there. But she decided that she wasn't even really drunk, and so she wanted to go home because there's no place like home most of the time. So she decides that she's going to actually drive home. And so that's what she did. Well, that's what everyone thought she did, because Christina never actually made it home. Her friends messaged her the next day saying, "Did you get home safe? Yada yada." No response. And when they didn't get a response, obviously they were worried. They began eventually reaching out to her parents, who once, just like them, had not heard anything off of Christina either. Everyone's panicking and getting really worried about her. They contacted Hunter numerous times. I don't think he replied actually, but he didn't report her as missing, despite Christina going home, saying that she was coming home, and she never turned up home, which people have thought is weird. But he basically just said that she was really mad with him. So even though she said she was coming home, he just figured that she'd gone to her parents' house instead. Who knows? Obviously, you can make your own mind up on what you believe on that one. Christina was also supposed to go to work on a couple of occasions, and she didn't turn up to that, which again is not like her at all. And so people were getting very worried. Her father then reported her as missing. So the police launched an investigation. They began looking. They had a description of Christina's car and knew that she was in a car and should have been driving. They knew sort of where she was last at her friends and whatnot, and that she was going to take her car to drive home. Well, they found her car close to her friend's house in a parking lot. So it looks like Christina didn't even make it to her car that night. And the heartbreaking thing as well here is that Christina was deathly afraid of the dark. She was so terrified of the thought of being abducted and kidnapped and taken by someone that the thought of being in darkness and not being able to see properly, because of that as well, terrified her. So it was even more heartbreaking that that's what ended up happening to her, I guess. So the police found CCTV, basically, and they found Christina walking up to the car park, through the car park with some guy. This guy turned out to be called Enrique. Now, as I've said, she was afraid of the dark, so it would have made sense for her to seek someone's company out while she walked to a car. So that wasn't abnormal. But clearly, Nobody knows what happened after Enrique walked her through that car park. So the police contacted him. Calm as a cucumber, he was fine. Basically said that, yeah, he did walk her, he was at her with the party. He knew her before from school and whatnot, but hadn't really hung out with her. She never ever got in his car before. And he walked her to the parking lot, but then before the parking lot, he veered off to his car because he was parked elsewhere. And she then carried on walking to her car. But the CCTV showed them both walking in that car park together. So that wasn't right. Originally, though, sorry, they didn't have the CCTV, I don't think. So they didn't actually know that what Enrique was saying was bullcrap. Because it was bullcrap. But yeah, so they're looking into Enrique. They've got that story off of him that they separated. And, you know, she went home. He went home. They then look into Hunter because it's a bit strange that he hasn't reported her missing. You know, all these things. He was very reluctant to hand over his phone to the police. He didn't want to do it, whereas Enrique handed his phone straight over. No problems. They were very suspicious of Hunter. When he finally did hand over his phone, he deleted a lot of stuff off of it, which was like, what the hell are you doing? Why have you deleted all this crap? What are you trying to hide? Made him more suspicious. And a lot of the time, people want to blame the significant other because a lot of the time it is them. So, you know, they just follow him what the process is. Then that is when they finally got the CCTV, which proved that Enrique was telling a load of crap because he did certainly walk her through the car park. They walk off of the camera, they never split up, and this is the car park that he said that he didn't go to because he was parked elsewhere, so that's a load of baloney. 3 minutes after this, 3 minutes after they exit the frame, his car comes into view of the frame and off he drives. Now his car has got like tinted windows, so was she in that car? Was Christina in that car with him? Who knows? It could have been. Everyone thought that he left alone, but, you know, for starters, he lied about not going to that car park. And then they obviously showed him and was like, is that your car? When they interviewed him again. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe I just must have forgot that I did actually park there because I was very drunk. So yeah. They did a search on Enrique's car. Didn't find anything. But they found more CCTV of him actually going to, I believe it was like a garage or a gas station or something, and he's cleaning the back of his car out, yeah. But this was after, obviously, Christina went missing. Very suspicious. Police did eventually take samples of the boot, but, you know, before that they did a luminol test and they didn't find anything. They didn't take any samples of the boot. And then after they found the CCTV, they took samples of the boot for DNA testing, and I don't think they found anything, but at that point it had already been cleaned up. So yeah. They dug deeper into it and they found that Enrique's and Christina's phone both pinged in a similar area an hour after they left, like after they both left sort of, and was supposedly going their separate ways. Well, they were both in the same area. Then not long after that, Christina's phone was just dead, gone. The next day, Enrique was in work. He turned up at dinner time despite starting at like 8. He was full of scratches. He was limping around. People noticed it. People thought it was odd. And the police then found this and was like, what went on? So he said that he had a dent in his car and he was trying to get the dent out. And then the car fell on him, I guess. I don't really know. Something like that. Strange. Anyway, eventually someone gets arrested, but it wasn't Enrique. It was actually Hunter. And it wasn't to do with Christina. It was drugs related. They did this drugs bust on this club or something, and Hunter was actually found to be dealing drugs out of it. And this actually explains why he deleted all the stuff on his phone and probably didn't want to have much to do with police because he was a drug dealer. So yeah, he didn't want to get caught. Not that he had actually murdered Christina or anything. And therefore, with all of that sort of all matching up, why Hunter looked suspicious and a bit strange was probably because of the drugs. They then recircled back around to Enrique. He was the last person to see her alive. And he's putting himself out there as well. He's actively pleading to the media that he didn't do this. He's going on, like, honestly, I will show you the clip. It's laughable to me, anyway. I guess it depends on whether you believe he's innocent or not, but I don't, so and neither did the courts. But yeah, about how he's the nicest guy on the planet and wouldn't even hurt an animal, not even a fly. I will play it for you. It's brilliant.
Accusing me of something. They're pressuring me to say something I don't know. They've put my name out there so much that people are starting to see me as a monster when I'm really one of the nicest people you can ever meet. And harm anything, not even an animal, a fly, nothing.
Yeah, he's going on about how he feels victimized, how his life feels threatened, and all of this lot, how they've got it so totally wrong. And okay, he wasn't like lying to the police because he forgot where he parked his car, and he wasn't misleading at all. Yeah, okay. Anyway, all of this stuff added up to one thing. Enrique. But they didn't have a body, which is bad. It's bad for these cases because people say no body, no crime. Obviously a crime was committed. Christina was missing. He was the last person with her. So what they were going for was kidnapping, basically. And that is what they went to court with. They found Enrique guilty of aggravated kidnapping, and he was sentenced to life in prison for that. Life in prison. Because, in my opinion, the judge knew that he had killed Christina, and yet he couldn't prove it because they had no body. What if Christina had just sort of driven off out a different way and they didn't have CCTV there? You know what I mean? So that is a massive sentence for aggravated kidnapping. So yeah, it's a bit of thrown in there, like they knew he did it, basically. So yeah, he's serving this crazy sentence. And all this time, her family, devastated family, are looking for her, and they did not give up. They said that we will find Christina. They did an interview saying, like, for the last 2 years, we've been looking every, I don't know, 1 day a week, all these different areas, about 7 or 8 people are looking, and they're trying to find Christina. And they didn't want to give up on her. They wanted to bring her home. Then in March of 2018, that's exactly what happened. Christina's body was finally found. It wasn't by a search party, I don't think. It was by some people doing like groundwork or something. They were clearing up some brush and stuff. That's something they did find in Enrique's car. They actually scanned the underneath of it and found some vegetation, so they figured that he'd taken her somewhere brushy, I guess, which is probably where the search parties were looking. But anyway, these builders or whatnot, or gardeners or something, was clearing away this area, and they found Christina's body, but it was so badly decomposed that they could not tell how she had actually died, what had killed her, sadly. But that didn't really matter because Enrique was in jail for life anyway.
See me as a monster when I'm really one of the nicest people you can ever meet. Anything, not even an animal, a fly, nothing.
So he's never gotten done for her murder, but I don't think he ever will, and I don't think he needs to be, because he's behind bars. He's not liable for parole until 2044, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he won't get it. But yeah, he still claims that he's innocent, that he didn't do all this, which is a load of crap. And yeah, that's why I think that he's not going to get charged for her murder, because what is the point, really? He's sort of serving a full term anyway. Her parents know that he did it. They know that the right man is behind bars, so just to say, you know, he did it and go for all of that again, there's not really much point, I suppose, unless, I suppose they could have really pushed for it if they wanted to, but they're probably happy with the outcome anyway. Not obviously what happened to the daughter, but I mean with regards to Enrique being in jail forever. So yeah, that is the end of this case. It is absolutely heartbreaking what happened. Just, it's more so that she was terrified of the dark and had a deep fear of being kidnapped, and then she was, just honestly. And I reckon she was probably in the boot of that car. He shoved her in, probably. I don't know. It takes 2 seconds. Like, literally, you walk into your car, he walks up past his car, opens his boot, shoves her in, closes it, job done, and he's back out there in 3 minutes. 3 minutes isn't a lot of time to do it. But it's enough time. If his car was right there, and she didn't have a clue what was going on, he could have smacked her head off of something. He could have dented the car with her head. Could have done. And then just shoved her in. But yeah. That is the end of this case. If you guys have enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for similar content, And that's all I have today on the case of Christina Morris. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.